Hey, good Monday morning to you guys. How the heck are you? It's good to see you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I hope everyone had a thoroughly pleasant and wonderful weekend and that everything is just nice and bright and sunny and wonderful in your universe. It is just that for me. Hello, IR. Good to see you, my friend. Always nice to see folks watching the Crazy Gibberish live. Good to have people here hanging out with me on this fine Monday morning. And isn't it a fine Monday morning? I'm doing just dandy. Not a lot of game-related stuff got done this past weekend. I had other concerns. I had other things going on. I have said before, I do a sports live cast, and I had to work on that very much at the 11th hour. But my production team came through. I have the best live streaming team in the world over on that channel. So that was a lot of fun. So that, you know what, that's my shout out today to Jess, Bo, and Big John. Thank you guys for making the completely not tabletop gaming related part of my YouTube streaming experience all the more wonderful. You guys are awesome, and I absolutely appreciate that. So anyway, got some interesting input, got some feedback, and I have to say, despite my anger, and I was wroth on Friday. I was fit to be tied on Friday. But still, it was mostly positive feedback. Well, no, it was all positive. It wasn't mostly positive. I think a lot of folks who've never seen me like legitimately get angry about something were perhaps a little taken aback by that sudden outburst on my part. Like, whoa, I've never seen Bill get quite that pissed off about a thing before. But yeah, I get passionate about my hobbies. But we're not going to go over what was said Friday. We all know the score. And so we move on. Friday is in the rearview mirror. It's the dawn of a brand new week. And what a week we have planned this week. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about Greyhawk gods. We're going to keep looking at the Greyhawk gods pantheon. Now, I have had some people ask me, hello Adam Black, if there are openings for the Tuesday demo game that we're going to start doing. And the answer is yes. I have one opening left. I would like 4 people, if they could join in on that, to play. Now, here's the caveat. This is not me saying, hey guys, I'm running a D&D game. It's at noon on Tuesdays. Would you like to play? This is for the stream. This is going over all the concepts. This is a lab practical of everything that I've covered over the last couple of months with how to play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. We're still going to have fun. Don't get me wrong. But, I'll stop to take questions from viewers. I'll stop to talk to people at the table. And I'll stop to explain things that I think might not be clear. So, in that respect, it is still going to be very much a part of this channel's production. So to be sure, if you wish to learn how to actually play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, come on in, sign up. I know the time is not perfect for everyone, but it's there, and this is an opportunity. Speaking of timing, I want to apologize to anyone who regularly watches the stream on Facebook. And there are a few, and they're my friends. And I've said before, I keep doing the stuff on Facebook because I have friends who use Facebook regularly. And friends they are. I'm talking about like real life. I can talk to them, friends, not just, friends. Not Facebook's definition of friends. Not little party apparatchiks for the Zuck. Actual friends. And I felt like Friday when things fell down technically that they kind of got left in the dark. So I apologize to you guys again. Apparently, once in a blue moon, Facebook's stream key and YouTube what Facebook wants and what it's given me are separate and different things. I always check the stream keys to make sure that they match. I'll copy and paste stream keys into Notepad and make sure that case, special characters, everything is 1-to-1 with what's on the screen. And I did that. And YouTube was still not, YouTube was fine. Facebook would still not start. So in addition to all the other stuff on Friday, I had Facebook fighting me, which, given the way Facebook is, maybe it's better that didn't happen. So to my Facebook friends, I was not ignoring you guys on Friday. As just on top of everything else, I got handed shaft handle and all on Friday. So speaking of, guys, we're still 196 viewers shy of that upcoming miniature convention. Not miniature like tabletop miniatures, although those will be there, but miniatures and small. And it's only small insofar as it's just myself and a couple of other people offering to Game Master games. But guys, we can still get there. We can still get there. I imagine at the rate the channel grows, it'll probably be after the first of the year. But who knows? Y'all could surprise me. We could blow up in a good way. Don't censor me, Google, because I said blow up. He's talking about explosives. Shut his channel down. No, we can still very much do this, and I would love to be able to run a small online gaming convention. I think that would be the coolest thing in the world, because I have preached from the top of the highest mountain since I started doing these live streams almost 2 years ago that online gaming connectivity can be almost as much fun as face-to-face gaming, and it's really easy. You don't need this. You don't need a studio. A mobile device with an internet connection for every person. It can be as simple as a cell phone. I mean, I think it was, I think we've narrowed it down. I believe it was either Tim Kask or Mike Mornard who got their job at TSR after they played D&D with Gary over the phone, long distance, from Minneapolis for hours and hours on end. So if they can do it with a simple analog switching telephone line back in 1974 or 75, you can do it in the year of our Lord 2021 with everybody basically having a pocket computer that has more power, more computing power in it than every other computing device that existed when D&D was created. So don't think you can't. Other things that are happening this week, as I look there at the subscribers, other things that are happening, the schedule this week is, of course, today, tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll catch you up on tonight's big AD&D game, what's going on. The party is currently in the wilderness area of S4, Lost Caverns of Sojkoth. The Tuesday game will start next week. I have a feeling somebody's going to want to jump in and play on Tuesday, which is fine. That's awesome. That's just great. Wednesday. Now, I just got through telling my folks over on Facebook, gushing to them about how much I love them and I don't want to ever leave them out, and that's true. Wednesday, we will have a guest on the stream. Kyle and I will. We're going to be using StreamYard. Now, StreamYard does support multicasting, but only if you pay for it, which is fine. I just don't have the money for a subscription to StreamYard. So, as it stands, using the free version of StreamYard, I can only stream it in one place, and it's going to be to YouTube. So, there will be a triumvirate panel on Wednesday. It'll be myself, Kyle, and our guest. We'll be here on Wednesday. And why am I using StreamYard? You might ask. It seems like, Bill, you've got everything sorted out. Why use StreamYard? And the answer is, Kyle wants to try it out because Discord seems to not work very well for him. So we're going to give StreamYard a try and see if that works. Now, as for the show, for the rest of the week, everything is going to be pretty much hunky-dory. Friday night, I will be streaming with Yang Yan Zhao on Yang Yan Zhao Storytime, and I'm going to, let's see, I will share the link to his channel. Go subscribe to his channel, please. See if I can find this real quick. Here we go. Here is his channel. Please go subscribe. And yes, I will share that over on Facebook also. So go subscribe to Yang's channel. I will be there on Friday, and I believe we're going to talk about what it takes to build a campaign and a successful adventure. But I don't want to spoil anything for Yang. So we'll do that at the appropriate time. I'll let him make the announcement and then I'll share it to you guys. But that's, excuse me. I've been working on that for the last 20 minutes trying to fight it. So I feel a lot less pensive now. But yes, Friday, without sneezes, I will be there with Yang, and we'll have some discussion, some civilized discussion, like civilized people. I promised him I wouldn't say the F word more than 4 or 5 times. Possibly 6, maybe 10. I don't know. But it won't be a bunch. So, let's get to today's business. We have talked a lot about Greyhawk gods, and one of the things I want to emphasize, this is not just me sitting here reading out of the World of Greyhawk setting there. It is, but it isn't. The reason that I'm going over this, and the point that I think I've driven home is that, or that I hope I've driven home, is that the misconception that within AD&D, if it doesn't say you can do it, then it means you can't do it, is completely backwards and upside down from the reality. In AD&D, and the point I've tried to get across, and I'll explain how this ties into the World of Greyhawk setting, everything that is not forbidden is permitted. So, I see a lot of people over time. Hey, Damien, good to see you. They've talked about the restrictiveness and the inflexibility and the I can't do this and the I can't do that of Greyhawk rules and how much better things got. What I hope people have taken away as I've gone down looking at the gods of Greyhawk and talking about them and their backgrounds and so on, what I hope you've noticed is that 201, almost every cleric gets a little something special and different for being in the church. I saw a thing. I have the TSR Silver Anniversary boxed set that they released. Good Lord. It's been almost 25 years since that was released. The Silver Anniversary box set is coming up on its silver anniversary, which just blows my damn mind. It was the one that had a pastel G1, G2, and G3. Had a facsimile of S2, I6, and B2, and the sadly not complete Deep Dwarven Delve, L3. Plus, it had some other goodies in it, like a history of TSR book, just some oddments and so on and etc. But in that set, sorry, I had a moment. In that set, there's a little ad for Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think anybody who bought that because it was $50 when it was new on the shelf, but I don't think anyone who bought that looked at it and said, I don't know what D&D is. I need to be told what D&D is. But there's an ad for playing Dungeons and Dragons. And the punchline of it is, we won't even let you play, or we won't even make you play the cleric, or you don't have to play the cleric if you don't want to. Where, if someone can enlighten me, did this idea of playing the cleric sucks come in? Clerics are good fighters. Plus they get great buff spells. Plus they get healing spells. Plus they even get some fun offensive spells. Plus they can turn undead. And they can make holy water. And they have a plethora of magic items they can use. A mid to high level cleric rocking full plate and equipped with a magic mace is a danger. A bona fide danger to the bad guys, which is as it should be. So I don't understand where this, I have to play the cleric, Brian, comes from. And if you're using the World of Greyhawk setting, even if you don't use a World of Greyhawk setting, even if everything I've told you about the World of Greyhawk setting makes you say, that's not the world for me, that's not the campaign, I'm going to do my own homebrew thing, I'm going to listen to the bonuses, the differentiating bonuses and options that clerics get in the World of Greyhawk setting, and apply it to your own campaign setting. Hello, Samuel Lee. Good to see you. Apply it to your own campaign settings when you create your own pantheons of deities. If you want to have a religious order that permits clerics the use of the sword, then so be it. I could be wrong, but I think there's a deity that allows clerics to use spears in here. I'll have to double check. But the point is that clerics need not be bland, okay? They need not be just cure light wounds, cure serious wounds, neutralize poison, raise dead, cure critical wounds, turn undead. Oh, and bless. All right? All of the clerics of each god or demigod in the world of Greyhawk have a little something unique about them. And I hope I'm communicating that across as we're talking about the various gods. I hope you're getting that. And when you're thinking about DMing your game, even if you're not using the world of Greyhawk setting, if you're like, well, you know, this god over here is a god of the sea. Well, maybe give your clerics at 5th level the ability to cast water breathing on themselves. Or control weather. Or they're allowed to fight with a trident. It's just all clerics should not across the board be banded plate or chain, mace, bless, the 3 types of cure spells, neutralize poison and raise dead and turn undead. I mean, yeah, if you play them like that, 1st edition AD&D clerics will come over as being very bland, very dull. But it doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. So with that said, let's dig into some more cleric stuff. Now, I think if we hop over to page, that should put us close to... Nope. There we go. The 62nd page of the PDF and page 62 in the books are different things, so I apologize for the scrolling. So we're going to look then today, because we've talked about so many different deities. Let's scroll down. Who haven't we talked about? Because not all of them are detailed. Not all of them are detailed. So you say, oh, well, we'll start off with Bakab. Well, Bakab is a greater deity. There's no entry for Beery. It just starts right off with Bakab. And that's a it's up to you kind of thing. So let's scroll down a little bit and we'll look at some deities. So we talked about Foltas, Ralashaz, so let's talk about Raxavort. Lesser God, chaotic evil, Zvarts, rats, and bats. Which at this point, if you don't have the Fiend Folio or the modules that Zvarts appear in, this might be a little odd, but we go on. It is told that Raxavort began life centuries ago as a normal Zvart. Due to his superior capabilities, he rose to the leadership of all Zvarts. And because of great service to a demon, some say Grazd, Raxavort was granted certain powers and appointed master of slaves of the demon. Raxavort feigned gratitude and bided his time. Eventually, the cunning Zvart gained sufficient knowledge and power to loot the demon's strong room, and with a new arsenal attempted to wrest control of the abyssal plane from its lord. The battle was titanic and lasted for months, neither side able to better the other. At last, Raxavort sought a truce, and departed for the wildly changing plains of Pandemonium, giving up the portion of the abyssal plane he had taken, but carrying off great spoils. Raxavort now reigns in luxury, while demons shun him, and one, at least, plots a black revenge. Right there, that should be programming a high-level game in Greyhawk for you. Raxavort is a lord of Zvartkind, Packmaster of Rats, Night Flutterer. He can take the form of a Zvart, rat, or giant bat, Mobat, or use magic to take other human, demi-human, or humanoid guise. Raxavort's normal form is a Zvart, of course, with bright blue skin and burning orange eyes. His features are gross and ugly in the extreme. Raxavort wears silken garments over blue mail, the whole shimmering as if aflame. Raxavort favors small bladed weapons such as knives, daggers, and short swords. He can hurl any such weapon with great accuracy. He seldom has fewer than a dozen throwing knives and daggers. Raxivort also has a falchion of small size but great magical power. It is called Azure Razor, and in his hands it has the power to paralyze one specific type of creature upon command. In addition to his other powers, Raxivort has the ability to generate a blue blaze from his left hand. This flame combines with the powers of both fire and acid. Raxivort has many companies of Zvart fighters to serve and guard him. Likewise, he has packs of the largest giant rats and scores of Mobats at his beck and call. Shamans serving Raxivort always display the blue flaming hand of their deity. They can rise to Lama status. Magic-using witch doctors can rise to Theurgist status. Now there's something to consider. Imagine a Theurgist level powerful magic user / cleric coming at you. And it's just a Zvart. Just a Zvart. So that's Raxivort. Now on the flip side, we have Tritherion, the Summoner. Lesser God, chaotic good, individuality, self-protection, liberty, retribution. Okay, time for a little in-joke. Years ago, a buddy of mine, hello Crazy Hermit, a buddy of mine ran a cleric of Tritherion and basically deemed him to be the libertarian god and would make endless Ron Paul jokes about Tritherion, to the point that he would refer to him as Tritherion Paul. So, now you know the rest of the story. Tritherion, the Summoner, is the deity of individuality and the right of self-protection. His symbol, the Rune of Pursuit, indicates many things, including the need to strive for liberty and to seek to bring an end to those who are bent on abridging life or freedom. When upon the prime material plane, Tritherion appears as a tall, well-built young man with red gold hair and gray eyes. He is typically clad in pale blue or violet garb, with a shirt of golden chainmail often visible. He carries a broad-bladed spear, a broadsword, and a scepter in his broad girdle of gold-studded leather. The spear is called Krelestro, the Harbinger of Doom. It returns to Tritherion's hand swiftly after being thrown. His sword is called Freedom's Tongue. It can cause fear in all opponents of its wielder. The scepter is the baton of retribution. It can locate any enemy anywhere unless some extremely powerful magical protection against location exists. The scepter also permits its wielder to summon certain creatures, as detailed later. Merely possessing the baton of retribution allows the possessor to travel to any place on any plane of existence not protected by some magic to prevent such entrance. When held and wielded, the baton will, upon desire, cause the surrounding area to become a strange plane, unfamiliar to those opposing the wielder of the device. Thus it could be a barren desert of purple rock and green skies, a swamp of milk-colored water with red plants, a featureless plain of gray and black whose ground glows as if it were translucent fire, and whose heavens are black and opaque. At each such place, Tritherion must be answered one question truthfully, or else the creature will be consigned to this strange world for 100 years, barring some means of escape. As the Summoner, Tritherion is able to call up 3 creatures, one at a time, to pursue and combat those guilty of enslavement, abridgment of liberty, and similar crimes. The creatures are Nimud the Hound, Harris the Falcon, Karok the Sea Lizard. The summoned creature will follow the orders to the best of its ability. Tritherion can summon, through gates, any type of diva. He will only do so to combat great evil, of course. Priests of Tritherion wear dark blue or purple robes, silver or gold trimmed. During special ceremonies they wear cassocks of gold and red, emblazoned with the Rune of Pursuit. Curates and superiors are allowed the use of spears. Well, there you go. Patriarchs and superiors can employ broadswords. Boom. I want my cleric to use a sword. Cleric of Tritherion. The followers of this deity are common in large towns and cities and in certain states of the Flannis, notably the Yeomanry and the Shield Lands. Services include ceremonial flames, bells, and iron vessels and symbols of various types. Tritherion Paul. Clerics can wear more armor than the magic user. Absolutely correct. So, what about stats, though? Do we have Tritherion and Raxavort stats? Let's go down and take a look. I know. Scrolling too fast. You guys will have to pardon me. I've been watching that show Disenchantment. That's really good. They have fortunately been kind of subtle with the D&D jokes. I did catch one about multiclassing the other day that was pretty funny. My daughter and I have been binging it. It was an assassin messenger or something, or basically it was an assassin who also had the duty to tell you one thing, and one of the characters makes a comment about multiclassing. Otherwise, they haven't gone like over the top with D&D references, which is nice. I like a subtle touch on that. So let's talk about Raxavort. Armor class -1, move 12 or 15 feet as inches as a Mobat, which sounds like a type of primitive anti-tank weapon. Anyway, hit points 246, number of attacks 4, damage by weapon type plus blurry. There it is. +6. Good Lord, Raxavort. Bro, do you even lift? See below for special attacks and defenses. 40% magic resistance, 4 feet tall. Don't call him shorty. Chaotic evil. Worshippers are chaotic evil and Zvarts. Symbol, Hand of Flames, blue. Plane is Pandemonium. 8th level cleric. 12th level fighter. 6th level magic user. 10th level assassin. No psionic abilities. Interesting. Strength, 18 double nuts. Intelligence, 18. Wisdom, 18. Dexterity, 20. Constitution, 18. Charisma, -4. Ugly little spud, isn't he? He can hear you, Ray. Raxavort can hurl any knife, dagger, short sword, or similar small bladed weapon with great accuracy, +4 to hit. When hurled by him, they strike as if a +4 magical weapon. Raxavort's falchion also acts as a +5 weapon in his hands. The sword can be commanded to paralyze one specific type of creature. Once activated, the weapon remains active for 1 to 6 hours, then it is dormant for 1 day. The blue flame which Raxavort can project from his left hand fans out from his palm to a distance of 20 feet with a maximum width of 20 feet at its terminus. Creatures caught in this magical acid flame must save twice or take the full 5 to 20 points of fire damage. Raxavort can use this blue blaze but once every 4 rounds and no more than 6 times a day. It takes but 1 segment to employ the power, and it reduces his attacks by only 1/2. i.e. 2 rather than 4. So no mention there beyond what we have in the previous listing of what Zvart clerics can do, but it is important to take that into consideration when stocking a dungeon with a lot of Zvarts. And let's face it, who doesn't want to stock a dungeon with a lot of Zvarts? So now we come to it. Now to Tritherion, the Summoner. Armor class -4, move 24 inches. He's fleet of foot. 163 hit points. Number of attacks 2. By weapon type, +7 strength bonus. Special attacks, see below. Special defense, +3 or better weapons to hit. 80% magic resistance, chaotic good. Worshipper's alignment, chaotic neutral, chaotic good. Symbol, Rune of Pursuit. Plane, Gladsheim. Cleric Druid, 9th level cleric. 11th level fighter. 10th level illusionist. He's not an assassin or bard or monk or thief. All attack defense modes of psionics. Strength 19, intelligence 19, wisdom 19, dexterity 20, constitution 19, charisma 19. Tritherion Spear, the Harbinger of Doom, is a spear +7. It can be hurled 9 inches and will return in the same round. The sword Freedom's Tongue is a broadsword +6, which causes fear, per the Sphere spell, in a 30-foot radius to all opponents of its wielder unless a saving throw versus spells is successful. The 3 creatures that can be summoned by Tritherion are Nimul the Hound, armor class 0, moves 21 inches, 8 hit dice, 64 hit points, number of attacks 1, damage 4 to 16, special attack, fastens bite until destroyed. Special defense, struck only by magical weapons, 30% magical resistance. Let's see. Nimud is an iron-jawed creature which tracks prey as if it were a 20th level ranger. When it attacks successfully, the hound locks its jaws and automatically causes 16 points of damage to its opponent each round thereafter. This creature is 80% likely to be undetected. It is never surprised. Harris the Falcon. Armor class 2, move 3 inches or 30 inches in flight. Hit dice 9, 72 hit points. Are you getting the idea that they got max hit points for their hit dice? Number of attacks 2 or 1, damage 5 to 8, /5 to 8, or 3 to 12. Special defense, struck only by magical weapons, 40% magical resistance. Harris is a huge bird-like creature with vision greater than that of an eagle. It can plummet at twice flying speed, and such attacks add +4 to its 2-hit probability and talon damage. After its initial talon attack, the creature uses its beak, one attack causing 3 to 4 points of damage. Karok the Sea Lizard. Armor class -1, move 3 or swim 27 inches. Hit dice 10, hit points 80. Number of attacks 1 or 1. Damage 3 to 30 or 2 to 16. Special attack, overturn small craft. Special defense, struck only by magical weapons. Magic resistance 20. Let's see. Karok is a crocodilian reptile some 40 feet long. Its normal attack is by tail smash, although biting is quite dangerous and often done. The creature has a 25% chance to upset vessels of its own length, a 50% chance to upset 30-foot vessels, a 75% chance to upset 20-foot vessels, and upsets 10-foot or smaller vessels 100% of the time. Don't try and escape Tritherion in a rowboat. Each creature can be summoned by Tritherion in 1 round, once per day. If slain in the course, it will take 1 week to reform on its own plane, and so cannot be summoned during that period. Tritherion can gate in 1 of each type of diva, 1 per round. The summoning also requires 1 round. It can be performed once per day. Priests of Tritherion have tracking abilities as if they were a ranger, 1 level below their cleric level, so a maximum of 8th level. Now, it also mentioned, it does not mention here, but also, again, under the deity, clerics of Tritherion get to use the spear and the broadsword. So there's your clerics are all the same, clerics are bland, breaker moment for the day. So we'll look at one more here. We're gonna take a look at Eula, because we've got some time, and then I'm going to take any questions you guys might have. Let's see, and I think we were on page 62. Eula, major goddess, lawful good, hills, mountains, and gemstones. I've seen somebody who would be the dwarves would be a big fan of. Whether Eula is akin to humans, gnomes, or dwarves is subject to debate. She is as tall and broad as a dwarf, but has features as gnomes do, but her husband Blered is most certainly human in aspect. Of course, being who she is, Eula can appear as male or female, dwarf, gnome, human, or just about any sort of creature she chooses. Eula dwells frequently on the prime material and elemental earth planes. And again, major goddess, not a minor one. In such locales, she is most at home, for she loves both rolling hills and craggy peaks, earthen burrows and stony vaults. Eula typically accouters herself an adamantine mail with many gems decorating her harness and weapons. With her always are her military pick and hammer of thunderbolts. She can hurl this weapon, whose name translates as Skull Ringer. This weapon is particularly deadly against humanoids, killing as many as 25 in a single pass. Ogres, ogre magi, trolls of all sorts, ettins, and all giants other than cloud or storm, and all golems other than iron ones are slain instantly if struck by Skullringer. Excuse me. Because of her affinity for the earth and minerals, all but evil-natured earth elemental creatures respect Eula. Those of good nature will serve her upon request. Those inimical to her flee in terror at the sight of her. Eula possesses many gems and jewels, some of which are magical. Powers vary from those of earth elemental command to command of earth and mineral. Those who find favor with her will usually receive one or more magical jewels intermixed with a reward of gemstones. In addition to being able to pass through the earth and rock at a very fast rate, Eula has many magical powers connected to earth. No earth-based spells can hamper her or harm her. Clerics of Eula wear green and brown initially, then brown and gray, and all gray at the highest levels. There are many demi-humans, dwarves, gnomes, and halflings who serve Eula, and there are fair numbers of humans, mostly hillmen, mountaineers, miners, and quarrymen, who do likewise. As would be expected, shrines, chapels, and temples are exclusively found in hills or mountains, if not subterranean. Services in honor of Eula are always in a stony area with earth and gemstones displayed. Hammering on stone rhythmically and chanting in deep notes serve as the hymn. So let's take a look at Eula's stats and see what, if anything, a cleric of Eula might receive. We'll get there. Hang on a second. And then I'll take some questions from you guys if you have any for today. So she is armor class -7, moves 9 inches, 18 inches through solid rock, earth, etc. Damage per attack by weapon type +12. I love seeing those bonuses on deities. Special attacks and defenses, see below. Magic resistance 90% and special, because she's immune to rock magic. Size small, 4'6". Alignment, lawful good. Worshipper's alignment, lawful good, lawful neutral. Neutral good, and neutral. Symbol, mountain with ruby heart. Plane, 7 heavens, concordant opposition. She is a 12th level cleric, a 14th level fighter, a 10th level illusionist, neither thief nor assassin nor monk nor bard, all types of psionic abilities. Strength, 24. Eula's not screwing around. What I wouldn't give for Eula to just go punch Raxavort to death. Just slap him to death, just with her open hand. Just go to his plane and just start slapping him. Eula arms herself with a military pick +5 and a hammer of thunderbolts. The hammer can be hurled every other round for a distance up to 14 inches for 2 to 8 +5 +12, 19 to 25 points of damage. This weapon will kill as many hit dice worth of small or man-sized humanoids as it would otherwise inflict points of damage upon large-sized opponents. Eula may use the following spell-like powers one at a time, at will, once per round. Earthquake, transmute rock to mud, stone-shaped dig, pass wall, wall of stone, glassy, move earth, stone to flesh, statue, glass steel, summon earth elemental. And then there are limits on, number of days. Like earthquake is once a day, statue is once a day. And then she gets twice a day and thrice a day for other ones there you can see. When able to touch earth or stone, Eula regenerates 1 hit point per round. Only +5 or better magical weapons can hit Eula. Her hearing is double normal, likewise her infravision, 240 feet. She can see into the ultraviolet spectrum as well. Clerics of Eula at all levels have extraordinary powers in addition to normal cleric spells. 1st through 3rd, infravision doubles normal intravisual capability. 4th through 6th, dig spell. 7th through 9th, pass wall. 10th or better, stone to flesh. Spells are cast at the level of the cleric, only Eula's holy symbol and prayer being necessary to effect them. So if you got a player who's playing a dwarf and they don't know what their god should be, take a look at Eula. Or possibly Blaired, but Eula, I think, would be your go-to. So once again, and I cannot hammer this home enough, we see that clerics change up per deity. Don't just let your clerics be bland heal bots, guys. You don't have to do that. Now, the world of Greyhawk is an absolutely fantastic place to campaign. And when you look at what deities get, or what clerics get from their deities, suddenly a cleric becomes pretty cool, actually. Mr. Grizz. Okay, I'm here. We can start now. Demon says, makes sense. Ninja historically used courier jobs as kafeve. Little joke for you there. No, I follow you, Damon. Oh, Mr. Grooves just got here. Okay. All right, let's start over. Hi, guys. How are you doing today? Had a problem. No, I'm not. We're not going to start over. So I hope that kind of lends a little bit of insight. And we're going to keep going over Greyhawk deities. There's a lot of cool ones. So, if you got a DM who's saying, hey, look, I'm getting ready to run a game in Greyhawk, even if you have to kind of bend and adjust and flex and so on to get some of these powers in, don't just let don't let a cleric of Eula be identical to a cleric of Tritherion, who's identical to a cleric of Foltus, who's identical to a cleric of Heronius, just with different uniforms on. Always use these options. Always use these options. And I think you will find that they are quite awesome. So my question to you guys is, do you guys have any questions about this? I'm all ears. Which makes for a very weird physiology, I might point out. I will answer your questions. So as I said, in case you missed it, there is there's a little bit of a change coming this week. Wednesday night will be just on YouTube because I don't know how to stream StreamYard to both YouTube and Facebook at the same time. But if you are watching exclusively on Facebook, you can still come back, or you can just come over to YouTube and watch on YouTube, and we'll have fun on StreamYard because we'll have a guest on Wednesday. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this. Our guest on Wednesday will be Aurora Williams, who has played in my Monday night campaign now for 7 years. 7 years. 7 years now, guys. Aurora has been in the Monday night game. So But she has also played other games as well. She was giving me grief because I was giving I was giving Hero System grief on Friday. So she's an experienced tabletop gamer. So she'll be here to talk about some of her experiences with playing tabletop role-playing games, reflections on the long-running Monday night campaign. You guys will get a little bit of insight into that. And Kyle and I will bounce trivia questions off of her, and we'll just generally have a great time Wednesday. But we're going to be live streaming through the StreamYard site, and I can only plug that into YouTube because I can't afford a subscription to StreamYard. Just use the free one to stream only to YouTube. Which I get it, I understand. I have an advantage with OBS that allows me to stream to YouTube and to Facebook at the same time. I can't do that with a third-party website, basically. So, my apologies in advance. If you're like, no, I want to watch it on Facebook, you'll have to either participate on YouTube or watch it later through the link to YouTube that I put up on Facebook. I can't help you, man. So are there any questions? Does anyone have any questions about these awesome Greyhawk deities and all of the options? Just let them fly in the next little while we've got. And if I don't see anything in the next little bit, we'll go ahead and wrap up. And Friday, of course, you can see the link there in both chats on Facebook and on YouTube. Friday, again, story time with Yang Yan Zhao. I will be there, and he and I are going to be talking about a lot of stuff. He is having me as a guest over on his show, and won't that be a lot of fun? I'm looking forward to it. Anything at all? Anyone got any questions? And then finally, I will wrap up with just a couple of announcements. If you weren't here early on, Mr. Groove said, I just wish I had that Cthulhu Deities and Demigods, the unexpurgated one. I wish you did too, Mr. Grooves. I wish you did too. I wish I could help you out. I have had 13 or 14 copies of Deities and Demigods over my life, and with one exception, everyone has been the unexpurgated version. I wish I had them all back now, because it used to be that the unexpurgated Deities and Demigods was it was rare-ish, and it might command $40 or $50, which I thought was a little overpriced. But occasionally you'd see some lunatic trying to flog one off for a few $100s. Now, that is the average price, is a few $100, and you see some lunatic trying to flog one off for several hundreds of dollars. So if I still had my stack, I would sell them for the going rate right now. I mean, I think 50 is a perfectly acceptable price for that book these days. And honestly, Given that Chaosium, nobody owns the works of H.P. Lovecraft. Nobody does. The line of secession from H.P. Lovecraft's last remaining relative to August Derleth is very thin and very shaky. So, if you ask me, Arkham House barely owned the works of HPL, and it has been more than 75 years since the death of the author. So, honestly, there's nothing stopping Wizards of the Coast from republishing the Unexpurgated Deities and Demigods. Michael Moorcock has stated many times over the years he was absolutely okay with TSR publishing the Elric, the Melnibonian mythos. And Chaosium has nothing to do with that anymore. So if you ask me, just double checking with Moorcock and then going ahead and republishing the thing would absolutely be in Wizards of the Coast's best interest. But so yeah, that's my hot take on it. But I'm not an IP lawyer. I'm not any kind of lawyer. What in the heck was that? He popped up in the middle. But anyhow, so tomorrow we'll be back with a game recap of what went on in Monday night's AD&D game. That's tonight. I'm very looking forward. I hope you're very looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. And then Wednesday, Aurora Williams will be our guest. I'm very looking forward to that. Aurora's a great person, a wonderful person. Kyle Schuant, co-host. We will be on StreamYard, only on YouTube. If you don't want to watch on YouTube live, you'll have to catch it later. Sorry. Unless somebody wants to donate the, like $99 for a year subscription to StreamYard to the show so I could multi-stream from StreamYard to Facebook at the same time. And by the way, just to reiterate, because somebody asked Friday about super chats, I don't have the viewership, the engagement. Although I do want to talk about it, viewership and engagement for just a second. But I don't have the ability to accept super chats because I don't have at least 1,000 subs, which sucks. But there we are. If you want to donate to help the show out, that's fine. I'm not rattling the Tim Cup. I'm not saying you have to. But if you want to donate to the show, I will gladly accept via PayPal. And you can kick that to me. I'm not rattling the tin cup. I'm not saying you got to do this. I'm just saying if that's your jam and you want to kick in a little bit of something to help out with the show with things like a subscription to StreamYard or what have you, that's where you can kick me something in PayPal if you want to. This will never be a subscription thing, guys, I promise. Groove said, loving the recaps on your game, by the way, looking forward to that. I like doing them. I enjoy doing them. So it's a lot of fun. And by the way, I post them up. I post up written, or you can't go like all the way back 7 years because honestly, I only started doing fully detailed game recaps in text form a few months ago when at the table we would start having players. We started having a lot of absences of players for various reasons, and I started getting more and more detailed. It used to be like, these 3 people went in the dungeon, and you guys stayed back at camp. Here's the XP for their encounters. It was just, some monster fighting in this room, and they found a chest in that room. So I didn't start getting the fully detailed stuff in games, the fully detailed descriptions of games, until a few months ago. But if you go over to the AD&D subreddit, you will find my game summaries there. And let me know if you want an actual link to it. So now with that said, you guys have an absolutely stellar day. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for helping with the channel, helping spread the good word about the channel. Like I said, we're at 804 subs. It slipped a little bit, but we're still at 804. We're still less than 200 subs from celebrating getting 1,000 subs by having an online virtual convention. The Great Underground Virtual Gaming Con will happen once we hit that 1,000 sub mark. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you guys will help make that happen. You guys have been helping make that happen. And that is awesome. That is wonderful. So thank you so much. You all have a fantastic day. I really appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, I will talk to you later. Be well. Be good to each other.